It is time for another About Mansfield Consumer Advice Series episode. I'm Steve Casillo, and we appreciate you being here. As we do every Friday, we bring in our financial philosopher, our guru of... I'm going to have to come up with a catchy phrase there. The guru of... Another G word.
Call it the... Maybe like the magi of money.
The magi of money.
Oh, look at that. Yes,
Nice.
I like that.
Phillip Washington Jr. is here, as we do every Friday, and he is the host of Wealth Building Made Simple, a podcast found on all platforms. And you're also a financial advisor, are you not?
Yes, I prefer the term wealth manager because
Wealth manager.
It sounds sexier than like financial advisor.
I'm a financial advisor.
I'm a financial. No, I like financial advisors. They're cool too. Technically, I am. I just prefer the word wealth manager. It makes me feel sexier.
There you go.
Yeah.
Today's topic, community as currency, which the first word that came to mind was barter.
Yes, your specialty, Steve. Yes,
I love bartering. Anybody want to trade something for advertising? You know what? We actually did that when the podcast first opened. We traded with a community businessman who printed silkscreen T-shirts.
Huh?
And remember back in the day, we had 200 T-shirts.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yep.
No, and I think it. Bartering. I think bartering is embedded also in the term of networking.
Yep.
Right. Because when I think about like networking done the right way, right? Networking, and the right way meaning the way that attracts people who want to do business with you is a sort of bartering because you're building a community of people who trust you, who like you, who want to share resources with you because you share resources with them, right? I love the biblical wisdom, but it was like, I love, I'm messing it up, but it's something like the people love God because God first loves them, right? Meaning like I interchange God for like the flow of energy, right? So like when you show love first and you give faith in people first and you share first, just people are going to reciprocate, right? I mean,
sure.
Naturally, it's like the laws of physics, And so like as you share with others, you build up resources or reserves of energy in them that makes them want to do business with you, right? And so we get confused as a society and we confuse the symbol of money with like the actual stuff. And I'm like, no, like what currency actually is a flow of energy, right?
Right.
And that flow of energy of goodwill, right, is unlimited. There is no limit. Like if you evaporated all the money in the system and we started from scratch, and then you watched who had the most influence in a community over time, which meant who was the wealthiest from a emotional currency standpoint, it's going to be the people that are the givers, right? The people that people want to follow because they can trust them, they have faith in them, right? The true leaders, right? And there's also leaders that become leaders by force, right? Because they're the strongest and they can beat you up the most or whatever. And right. And those leaders are okay, but their vulnerability is when a leader that's stronger than them, that can beat them up, comes along, then they lose their power, right? But like nobody in the community, even the ones that can beat you up, are going to like mess with a leader that flows good energy because the one that can, this was my case back in that. I was a nice kid. Like I didn't get in fights with the people that fought each other because like I flowed. I was a positive guy, like
right.
They didn't want to beat me up because who wants to beat up somebody who like is positive?
That's right.
Yeah.
The guy who's showing love.
Yeah.
And the lovers hang out with lovers, and the haters hang out with haters, and
the haters want to be loved too. So the haters like come around the lovers as long as right for a small period of time because the lover can turn them into a lover for a moment until they're ready to hate, and then they go away from the lover because they get annoying. But they don't want to beat up the lover because, right, they just want to get away from him when the lover's being loving.
That's right. Back to the topic of community as currency, and so, and we're not talking about manual labor here. That I'm going to go rake my neighbor's lawn in exchange for him building a birdhouse for me. Or it's a little more profound than that.
Yeah. But that's a good nuts and bolts building block to think of it. Is it's thinking of, okay, what I want to think in terms of like value, right? I want to think in terms of what I'm doing for the community, and it's subtle because there are some people who are providing a lots of value from the community, but they're doing it only from an action standpoint, right? And people know, like, you meet people who they're doing things and they're doing things just to get things, right? That's at a pure action level, and that currency is limited.
Yeah.
Right. That's more like a debt obligation. You're like, okay, you did for me, so I'm obligated to do back for you. And like, I mean, that still is a form of currency, but the flow of currency that gives you more wealth over time is one where it's non-obligatory, right? It's I'm doing just because it makes sense, and I just know it'll come back in some other form, right? And I'm building this. The thing that made me really talk about this topic specifically, Steve, was I was talking with a business owner who is looking to build a business, and they had all this content and things that they can share with the community, and they were holding it back to monetize it. And my what I was sharing with them was, well, you're not really known by a lot of people. And meaning like you haven't, like, you're doing some things, but instead of holding this back to wait to get paid for it, just put it out build a community. You don't have a community right now, so you don't have a lot that you can really monetize. You know what I mean? Like, and I'll say, so why don't you have some dope stuff to share with the community, share it, right? Just share it. Don't worry about the monetization yet. Just share, build relationships. And I was like, you're going to attract the people in the community that do have a lot of the relationships, right, that resonate with you, because this person had lots of wisdom, right? We're talking about the internet generation. So this person was a little older, 50. So they're working through navigating the internet. But I was like, but man, you have a lot of wisdom for the 20, 30-year-olds who are on the internet creating and producing. They're going to gravitate towards you because you have you made all the mistakes that they're making currently, and they're going to look up to you. And so then you'll get the community from their community, right? That's how it's going to actually happen. But I was like, don't do it for that. Like, just share, put it out there, be part of the community. And the community will take care of you financially in the way that it makes sense, in the form that it takes, because we don't know how it's going to play out today, because we don't know what the other cooperative components are going to want and desire. So it's going to mold into something new. It's like marriage, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, you have a vision of your life before you get married, and then you get this another unbalanced force that comes in and blows your plan up, right? And then y'all rebuild it into a better life if you do it in a co-creative way.
See if I'm on track with this statement. Based on what you just said, a podcast is a form of currency.
Absolutely.
Love it.
Absolutely. It's literally, as you know, Steve, I literally don't cold call. Yeah. All my clients come from love on the podcast.
Yes, that you are taking your knowledge, your knowledge is your currency, and you are sharing that with the community. Mm-hmm. The community is sharing their currency by, in a sense, doing business with you.
Absolutely. And sending the podcast and referring, and it's just, my community takes care of me, and I appreciate it. It's clearly you, Steve. You're part of my community.
Yeah.
You're a big part of my community.
And you're part of my community.
I appreciate that.
Yeah. So if someone wanted to reach out and find out more about Phillip Washington Jr.'s community, how can they find you?
Best way is wealthbuildingmadesimple.us and stonehillwealthmanagement.com.
Let me move out to a wide shot again. I got to show me your sweatshirt, made in the 80s.
Yes, my favorite sweatshirt for the month.
All original parts.
All original parts.
Nice.
80s baby.
Phillip, as you know, we do this every Friday. Let's go ahead and do it again next week.
Absolutely. Thanks, Steve.
We appreciate you listening to the About Mansfield Consumer Advice series. By the way, if you own a business and you are interested in being a part of the Consumer Advice series, if you have the knowledge to give information in 10-minute increments to the consumers, shoot me an email to info@aboutmansfield.com. Again, that is info@aboutmansfield.com. We'll tell you how we can get you all set up. Appreciate it. We do it again next week right here on the podcast.